All right, following a week of wicked low scores at the Century Tournament of Champions, the PGA Tour is just going to stick around the Hawaiian Islands for a little bit for the Sony Open, the first full field event of the 2022 calendar year. You see a man on your screen here to help us build a money-making DFS lineup. That is not me. That is Rotowire senior golf writer Len Hochberg. Len, Happy New Year. Good to see you.
Happy New Year to you too, Emerson.
Hey, so following a historic victory last week, the mullet, the mustache, the man, Cam Smith, rightfully atop the salary board at 11-2. He's won here before. So you buying a Hawaiian hot streak for the Aussie or looking at someone else with a fat price tag?
Yeah, Cam Smith, what a record-setting performance last week. He just became a whole lot more interesting on the PGA Tour. I don't think people realized how good he was, but getting into the top 10 will do that for you. And as you mentioned, he's also won this tournament in 2020, 2 years ago. So a lot of things are aligning for Cam Smith this week. And while I do like him, and he is the highest priced guy in the field at 11-2, and he deserves to be there, and he's a minuscule 8-1 at the DraftKings Sportsbook, I think we can find value elsewhere, better value elsewhere. I don't expect him to face plant like a lot of guys do the week after winning. I think he'll be competitive. I just think we can do a little bit better elsewhere this week. Okay,
yeah, he does seem like one of those guys just never out of a tournament, right? Like he's so stinking good, especially with his recovery shots. Let's go Ironman sung-jae. Maybe this is a guy you're feeling. Coming off his 4th straight top 20 finish this season, including T8 last week. So you buying him at 10-3?
Yeah, he had a great week last week. He had a great finish to last year. He won in the fall season. And even before that, he was 3rd at the BMW Championship in the loaded playoff field. So he's been playing very well at the end of last year and the beginning of this year. Interestingly, he has never played well at this tournament. He's been here 3 times. You know, they say at Waiʻalae that it takes experience. Well, 3 years is enough experience. He's played it 3 times. His best was around 16th, 18th in his debut 3 years ago. He's gotten worse every year since. It's really confounding because it should be a good track for him, but we haven't seen it. So I'm going to stay away from him this week.
Yeah, he showed really no glaring weaknesses last week. I'm looking at it here. It's a top 25 in all strokes gained categories, which is pretty impressive stuff, although it was a smaller field. Hey, last week, Taylor Gooch, though, keeps just churning out high finishes here, including the trophy he won at the RSM Classic. That was the final tournament of the 2021 season here. He finished T15 then. So how do you feel about his price of $9,100 this week, Len?
Yeah, that's a big price, and Taylor Gooch really came onto the scene in the fall season. No one had a better fall season. Well, maybe Sam Burns did, but other than that, Taylor Gooch was the star of the fall swing, and he's just become a new golfer in a short period of time. You know, he's also another guy who has not played well in this tournament. He's been there 4 times. He's never had a top 15. He's missed 2 cuts in his 4 visits. But, you know, I really think he's a changed guy, and we are seeing a new Taylor Gooch. Plus, he had the benefit for the first time of playing the week before. I think the guys who do play the Century Tournament Champions do have an edge this week. If you're ever deciding between 2 guys, maybe lean that way. So I do like Taylor Gooch this week at 9,100, despite poor performance in this tournament before.
Yeah, Len, we're seeing such tremendous growth out of him, too. Like dating back just to 3 years ago, 208th in the official world golf rankings, then 81 by year's end in 2020 and 32nd in 2021. So he's moving in the right direction. Definitely do you could target. What about some value on the board this week? Help us out there.
Yeah, we have 144 guys in the field. As we know, 65 in ties make the cut, so that's almost half the field will make the cut, and then there's a chance that half the field will make the cut. So a lot of 7s and 6s, 7,000 and 6,000 golfers and stuff. I'll throw out 3. Keith Mitchell, $7,600. It's a very fair price. It's for a guy, he's a great driver of the golf ball, not the greatest short game. You wouldn't think that this would be a good track for him, but he's played it 4 times, and he's had 3 top 25s. $6,800, Hudson Swafford. Hudson Swafford does not have many good weeks on the PGA Tour, but they invariably come at Waiʻalae. He's played this tournament 8 times. He's missed the cut only once. He's had 3 top 10s, 2 top 25s, including last year. He probably looking forward to this, one of his top weeks on the tour every year. And lastly, and this is only for the, not for the faint of heart, only for those with the strongest nerves, $6,100. I'm going to take a flyer on Vaughn Taylor. He was hurt last year. He had a rib injury. He had some withdrawals. It really affected him. He fell into the 400s in the world. Presumably, he is healthy now. He's 45 years old. He can't play too many places too well anymore, but this is one of them. He was 25th here last year, 12th the year before. Maybe he will make the cut. I'm not expecting a big week, but if you need a guy and you don't have a lot of cash, $6,100, Vaughn Taylor.
Well, who is someone that is going to cost you a lot of cash? Someone with a high salary you're really not feeling this week?
You know, there are a few guys who just have not played this tournament well. One of them is Hideki Matsuyama. He's well over $10,000, and this really should be a good course for him. Even the greens are not hard, so even a poor putter can sort of navigate their way around these greens. They're flat, they're not large, they're kind of slow, but he's never done well here. He's played here 8 times. He's missed 3 cuts, and he's never had a top 10. Abraham Answer was a little shaky last week with his irons, and that's normally his goal. Plus, he's never played well in this tournament. He's played it 4 times, never a top 25. And as mentioned earlier, Sung-jae, he's played it 3 times, never even a top 15 in this tournament. They're kind of odd, but that's what it tells us. That's what the numbers say.
Len, this is it. Don't get scared now. Our favorite time of the week. Time for you to tell us who is going to win the Sony Open.
You know, when the pandemic started, and it was way back in 2020, and golf shut down for 3 months, when golf came back, no one of the top players played worse, and I don't know why, than Mark Leishman. He just had a really hard time after that, finished 2020 really poorly, did not have a great 2021, had a few good tournaments that kept his ranking afloat. But then in the fall swing, when it just started up in September, he opened with 2 top 5s. Then he had another top 20 before the end of the year. He opened last week with a top 10. He's played Waiʻalae really well through the years, 3 top 5s. He was top 5 last year. He finished 4th. I think he's going to be a very popular one-and-done pick, but rightfully so. I like Mark Leishman a lot.
Making his 13th start at the Sony Open. Only missing the event once in 2012 since debuting in 2009 here. Len Hochberg, you're the man. We'll see you next week.
Thanks so much, Emerson.